So we have the Black identity gospel era now, and at the top, like I said, all these guys are considered the leaders of the Hebrew Israelite movement. On the bottom here, we have Marcus Garvey, um, who had some interesting views on the Bible, was a black thought leader. We have Elijah Muhammad, who of course was the head of the Nation of Islam during the time of the civil rights era, and we have James Cone, who was him immensely responsible for a move that we're going to talk about here pretty quick. So let's go ahead and let's talk about um, the the Hebrew Israelite dudes. Let's talk about them first. Okay, because why? Because they're at the top of my thing. That's all. So when you get the when you get the and you got to do a little bit of searching, not a whole lot, because we got a lot more information on them than we did 5 years ago. But when you do some searching around, you find some very interesting information about the Hebrew Israelites. William Saunders Crowdy was an American soldier, preacher, entrepreneur, and pastor, and was one of the earliest known Hebrew Israelites in the United States. He established the Church of God and Saints of Christ in 1896, after he claimed to have had visions telling him that blacks were descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, why is that important? Why is this detail? I want to talk about this. Why is this detail about having a vision and someone telling him something that is not part of the norm? It's not part of the orthodox of Bible teaching. Why is that important? Because every false group started with some kind of vision, some kind of visitation. The angel Gabriel came to me. The angel Moroni came to me. This person came to me. That person came to me and gave me a message that nobody else in the earth has ever had. Red flags, guys. Red flags. We should have red flags whenever we hear that story. I just wanted to just bring that up. I just think that we need to be aware that whenever we see that, there's a problem. There's probably going to be a problem. Okay. So let's get to the religious life of Mr. Crowdy. Let me bring it back up, of course, as always, because I always want you guys to read along. Okay. So, former Washington, D.C. headquarters of the Church of God and Saints in Christ during Crowdy's leadership, the building is now known as the First Tabernacle Beth El, and it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Crowdy settled in Guthrie, Oklahoma after his retirement from the railroad. He became a deacon in the local Baptist church. It was funny, all these guys come from the church too, by the way. An active member of the Prince Hall branch of Freemasons. Freemasons, guys. If you see a little Freemasonry in the Hebrew Israelites, it probably came from Crowdy. Anyway, in 1896, Crowdy's behavior became strange. For example, he was not always aware of people talking to him, but sat staring for long periods of time. Remember they said the same thing about C.H. Mason when he was doing his root stuff in the other video that we watched? Remember that? Related? I don't know. Anyway, it says he claimed to have had several visions. Here we go to visions in which he was told that black people were the descendants of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. He proceeded to create the Church of God and Saints of Christ, as regarded as a founder of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. He started preaching in Guthrie and set up tabernacles in Emporium, Lawrence, Kansas, 1896. Okay, so let's see. Okay, in 1903, he bought 40 acres in the land of Suffolk, Virginia, calling it Canaan land. More land was subsequently purchased by Bishop William H. Plummer, which who he was partnered with, and this is now international headquarters of the denomination. In 1905, he sent missionaries to South Africa. In 1906, he was declared chief by Joseph W. Crowdy, Bishop William H. Plummer, Elder Calvinist Skinner, and as future leaders of this congregation. Okay, and this is what it says. A Black Orthodox Jewish writer and activist has claimed that Crowdy was a Southern Baptist who never belonged nor converted to any branch of Judaism. Okay, so just thought they just felt that they had to make that point. So that's Crowdy. So let's talk about let's see. Frank Cherry. Let's talk about Frank Cherry. Frank Cherry, and I would love to get videos on these guys, but honestly, these guys weren't um I don't know if any video exists of these guys. We barely have a pictures. We barely have pictures of them because it was from so long ago. Anyway, it says the this article, by the way, uh it says the Hebrew Israelite movement is rooted in Black Judaism, a belief system birthed in the late 1800s by Black Christians from the South's Pentecostal holiness movement. Hello, somebody. Hello. They claim to have received a revelation. Here we go with the revelation again. America's recently emancipated slaves were God's chosen people, the true Hebrews. According to Black Judaism doctrine, when the kingdom of Israel was destroyed, the Israelites were first scattered across the African continent and then selectively targeted by enemy African tribes who captured and sold them to European slave traders for bondage in the New World. Okay. It's a common myth that the slaves were randomly shackled up and carried off to slavery. General Yohana, leader of the present day Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, told the intelligence report actually slave traders sailed for months and days to get to a specific pickup points. They knew what people they were taking, specifically the lost tribes of Israel. Now that's very subjective. Okay, we're gonna go and get those lost tribes of Israel, guys. Man the ships. We're going to pick up some Israelites. Stop, man. Just stop, bro. Just stop. Come on now. Anyway, since Black Judaism leaders preached self-empowerment and economic independence, okay, and an early form of Black nationalism, very important word, Black nationalism, that was foundational for later groups like the Nation of Islam. Hello, Nation of Islam. This rhetoric, that's what it says. This rhetoric emphasizing the biblical theme of an oppressed nation being led to a promised land informed Black activists the thought right up through the speeches of Martin Luther King. Remember, we're talking about the civil rights era. So this was their kind of language. Okay, it says one notable exception was F.S. Cherry, a self-proclaimed prophet. Here we go with the self-proclamations. People just name themselves prophets. That hasn't changed. Ain't nothing changed but the date, as far as that's concerned. Who in 1886 started a Black Jew church in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where he preached that white people were inherently evil and hated by God. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever heard on YouTube a Hebrew Israelite say that very thing? I've heard it several times. It's one of their mantras. That's what they talk about. It's what they do. See what I'm saying? But anyway, let's put it back. Let's put it up here. So let's see. Oh no, not that one. We're gonna put up this other one that I'm looking at. Actually, right. Let's see. We're gonna put up this one right. Where is it? There it is. Here. Okay. Frank Cherry. Frank Cherry started a black Jew church in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where he preached that white people were inherently evil and hated by God. Cherry also instructed his followers that the earth is square and that Jesus would return in the year 2000 to install blacks over whites through race war. You ever heard about the 2000 prophecy? All you got to do is type in Tahar to year 2000 prophecy, and it'll come up. Okay. Came from him. Just as today's racist Hebrew Israelite sects are hateful, but smaller detachments of a larger non-racist faith, Cherry, who relocated his congregation to Philadelphia in 1915, was far less popular in his time than non-racist Black Judaism founders like Reverend William Christian and William Saunders Crowdy. So basically, that's saying that Cherry was a more racist form of Black Judaism. That's basically what they're saying. It says after Cherry, the next major purveyor of racist dogma among Black Jews was Eber ben Yamyam, also known as Abba Bivens, also on our list. Okay. Who is in the 1960s broke away from the Commandment Keepers. The Commandment Keepers is a group of Black Jews, Black Judaism, rather, guys. Then the dominant mainstream Black Jewish organization to launch his own extremist sect, which became known as the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, otherwise known as One West Hebrew Israelism. That's what we got, guys. These three guys, and there's more. There's more in this article. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. There's more in this article if you want to read. But there you have it. Got these guys. Here they are. So we got Abba Bivens in this Black identity gospel era. We got Abba Bivens. We got William Crowdy. We got Frank Cherry. All that are the fathers of Hebrew Israelism in this country. Okay, next we got Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey had a little bit different idea, in the same vein, though, in the same vein, but just he just had a Black power with the Bible. That's the best way that I know how to explain Marcus Garvey. Okay, let's put some Marcus Garvey quotes up. Let's do that, shall we? Now I was looking at these quotes, and first let me give you a little bio of Marcus Garvey. If you don't know who he is, let's see, humble beginnings. Okay, so here's I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna start down here because I'm short for time, guys. I'm trying to get to where I really want you to, which is with today's people, which is after this slide. Shortly after returning to Jamaica, because that's where he was from, he founded the United Negro Improvement Association in 1914. The United Negro Improvement Association aimed to spark the idea of Black repatriation what's that word? Repatriation? repatriation to Africa. In other words, go back to Africa. According to the author and Black Studies professor Gay Teresa Johnson, the organization played an important part in role in getting people to understand and have pride in their race. Okay. Inspired by Booker T. Washington, Tuskegee Institute, Garvey wrote him a letter to ask for support in his initiative to open an industrial and agricultural training school. I mean, well, he's for the betterment of black folks. You can't put him down for that. Okay. Um, okay, let's see. Let me see if I can get uh, uh I want to get down to his some of his quotes. I, let's see, is this the one? Okay. Now, people say that he was a Christian. Okay, just so you know, people say Marcus Garvey was a Christian. The Thabiti's book says it also, but sometimes making makes sometimes here's let's have this conversation really quick. Sometimes people have this idea um that when you get into the social stuff, guys, when you get into the social part of of Christianity, helping people, or identity, or whatever else it may be, it's important that you do not allow that to overtake, number one, who you are as a Christian, who you are in God, and the mission that God has given the church. It's important that we understand those things, because if we don't understand them, we will be doing something that God never intended or wanted for us to do. Instead of attending God's field, we're attending our field. Does that make sense? So we got to be careful not to get caught up in this idea that I got to save my people, and or I got to save something other than, and make that a priority other than the preaching of the gospel. Okay, the focus on souls, winning souls. That it should be the priority importance of the Christian first. Why? Because that's the assignment God has given his children, his people, okay, to win souls for the kingdom by the preaching of the gospel and by discipling people. That's that's the primary thing. But we have some people, and I think Marcus Garvey is a good example of that, where your message of we got to save our people overshadows the message of the gospel. Does that make sense? Okay, for instance, let me see if I can get some of these quotes that he made. Um, yeah, he had this idea that God was like a ultimate intelligence. That was his idea of God, completely non-biblical view of God. And everything was about knowledge and power, in empowering ourselves. And you can see it in his quotes. It says, if you didn't have confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you started. That's a good positive quote, right? A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. I agree with that 100%. Intelligence rules the world, ignorance carries the burden. I mean, these are all good quotes. Now, here's where we get to where it starts getting a little weird for me. It says God and nature first made us what we are. God and nature? I don't know about the second part. says God and nature made us what we are. And then out of our own created genius, we make ourselves what we want to be. Is that a scriptural, is that a biblical principle? We make ourselves what we want to be? I don't think so. It says, follow always that great law. Let the sky and God be our limit and eternity our measurement. No. Submit to God. Do what God says. Obey God. Follow the Holy Spirit that's going to lead you to where? To the will of God. These are all biblical principles, not this stuff. But again, this is where the shift came. This is the part of the social gospel, if you will. This shift. And we got to save our people. We got to save our people, right? That's what all this is all part of. Okay. So just a little bit of Marcus Garvey. Um okay, so this is what I found on and I got a video for this one because I think it's important. This individual we're talking about Elijah Muhammad is very important because of the impact that the Nation of Islam had on the black community during the civil rights movement. Okay. So that's why I wanted to play this video because you will have you will have a better understanding of that impact that I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and just put him up. And I gotta tell you guys something. There are some people, there are uh um Elijah Muhammad, listen, this dude was a bad dude, man. This guy was a bad dude, but he was sold as we got a bag of good. We got sold um um a, a bad deal. We got a bad deal with Elijah Muhammad, man. He made a statement about, not in this video, in another video. He made a statement concerning after the assassination of Malcolm X that was very cold, and I never really thought about it before, but he obviously had. I'm not going to say that. I'm getting nervous now. Let me look around. But put it this way, he didn't have no love for Malcolm X, and I'll just leave that at that. And I'm gonna play the video, and we'll go from there. Hey, what's up, Bill for Speed, man? How you? Thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Here you go. We're gonna put this video up.
I would not say the white man is a descendant of Satan, because that would be wrong. We didn't have a Satan before white man. So the white man is Satan himself.
Wow. Listen to this, guys. Have you heard that before? Have you guys heard that before? Satan is the white man, says Elijah Muhammad. And guess who else says that? The Hebrew Israelites. They say the same thing, right? But you got to hear on black and white.
Cannot have freedom as long as the white man is ruling. What kind of freedom can we have if the white man is the president of this country and the Senate is the white and the governors of all states is white and the court is ruled by white? What can we say of us in the way of freedom in a country like America? It is truth that makes us.
Now, I want to say this. At the time when he's making this speech, maybe I can agree with him because there was a high level of oppression in the black communities, and their movements were more uh, scrutinized, and there was more pressure, all that stuff. But in 2023, we can't, I mean, first of all, the white man is not the devil. We can't make the white man the devil. He's not him, period. Does the white man participate in evil? Of course he does, but so does the black man. So does the yellow man. So does the orange man. So does the pink man. Everybody does. We're all evil. We all, in the eyes of God, we are all evil. Period. So for you to make a point and make a specific expressive point to say that the white man is the devil, come on, come on, come on, man. It's a flat out lie. But they use it to manipulate an emotional community. Because remember, the civil rights movement at the time manipulate a community that's already emotional and being oppressed at the same time. So you can get people on your team like this, especially when you stand in the light as a religious leader. Okay, remember we looking at it in that context. That's right. David Collins says, let's put this up. David Collins says, our battles are not flesh and blood. That's absolutely 100% right, bro. And I tell people that all the time. Y'all fighting the wrong battle. The white man is not the enemy. First of all, your own personal sin is your enemy. Number one. Number two, your enemy is the culture that's around you. It's not necessary. You can't put it on a race of people. Period.
Us to know the white man as he is. It is not other than the truth. It's just the real truth. We never did know the real truth. So now we know the white man as he is. And if the white man said that I am teaching hatred, it is just to say.
It's a fact, because you are preaching hatred. You just called a human being that has the same blood as when y'all both red. You cut him, y'all both bleed red. We open up your head, y'all got the same brain matter. It's a human being. You cut your heart open, same heart. You called him the devil. That's hatred.
Say, I didn't want you to tell them who I was. The same God didn't make the white man that made us.
What? What did he? I'm gonna be like the meme. What did he say? What? The God did not make the white man the same white. Wait, let me get, because I like to get exact quote.
I didn't want you to tell them who I was. The same God didn't make the white man that made us.
The same God did not make the white man that made us. So we got two different gods. We got the God that made the white people and the God that made the black people, apparently, right?
The white man made just 6,000 years ago, and we was made unlimited. We don't know nothing about any birth record to us. And you can't.
What? We don't have any birth records for us. Come on. Elijah, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You can't believe what you just said.
Can't find no history that will give you the birth of the black man. He has always been.
That's saying, listen, you understand what he just said, right? He basically has made the black man into God with that statement. Think about it. What one being doesn't have a start date. There's only one, it's God. He knows this as he makes this statement, but he applies it to the black man.
And since we have no beginning or no end for the black man, what is your doctrine on the origin of the Caucasian race?
Caucasian is a name given to the quality of the man. It means originally weak bone and stale face, you know.
What? Hold on. I got it. I'm a fact checker. Okay, I got to when people say stuff, I fact checked. So I got to fact check. So this is what it says. This is what it says when you pull up Caucasian. It says let me put it up for you. Let me put it up for you guys so you can see it. Let's see. Okay. Can you guys see that? Oh, hold it. Let me bring it in. Okay, it says Caucasian, white skin of European origin, related to Caucasians, relating to or denoting a group of languages spoken in the region of the Caucasus, of which 38 are known, many not committed to writing, the most widely spoken in the Georgian of the small South Caucasian family, not related to the three North Caucasian families. That says nothing about what he just said. He just made that up to make them some kind of evil. So that's crazy what he just said. Let's put this back. This is incredible, man. This is absolutely incredible. But you got to understand, this man is responsible for the minds of thousands of people. Thousands. And then we have David Collins here says, I put this up. David Collins, it says, it's people who crossed the Caucasus Mountains in Asia. That was that's basically what it is. But he makes it something evil. Let's get him back up here and so he can finish his diatribe here. This is absolutely amazing.
The person have a stale color, and his bones are weak, and they call him Caucasian. But actually, he was made white. This was brought about 6,000 years ago. And a black man, he is the father of the Caucasian race. His name was Yakub. He discovered in the germ of the black man that there were two people. And in studying the germ, he learned to divide the germ. It taken him 600 years to keep marrying this lighter one on to the lighter one until he produced we say they pick up the whole thing. That is pale white.
No sources, nothing. He just talking.
Using the birth control.
He just talking,
Therefore,
man.
And we have today now a brown race, yellow race, and a red race, and a white race. And the black is the original. He's the father of them all. It is time for divine intervention because we cannot deal with the American white man's army and his science of modern warfare. We can't compete with him. So therefore, if we are dissatisfied, we have to take our dissatisfaction to one who can deal with him effectively, and that's God.
Can you see how a mind could be poisoned sitting up under this man's teaching? Can you see how a mind can be influenced by this type of teaching in a religious quote unquote church setting? But yes, this is where we happen. We're talking about the evolution of the black church right now. This is what we're talking about. That's the name of this whole thing is the miseducation, the biblical miseducation of the Negro. So let's pull up somebody who you guys probably are more familiar with. Okay, so we talked about Elijah Muhammad. So now let's talk about James Cone. James Cone, huge impact on the black community from a religious standpoint, from a biblical standpoint, because he wrote books about how I'm just gonna put him. I'm just gonna put him up, and I'm just gonna let him talk. I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna let him tell you how he came up with his ideas about the Bible and God and all that type of stuff. So let's put up Mr. James Cone again. Fair use, guys. These are all fair use. Yes, and here we go.
Thank you. What did you draw on to do your theology? As a professor, as an author?
It was trying to bring together Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement together with the Black Power movement, this symbol of being black in a white racist society. King interpreted the gospel in such a way in which the blackness of his identity was not at the center. Malcolm, a Muslim, rejected Christianity because it did not address his blackness. So, I wanted to address my blackness.
So how did you come up with, and if you don't know, this man is the creator of what we now know as Black liberation theology. So this guy's asking him, how did you come up with the idea of Black liberation theology? And this is his explanation of how he did it. He created it from the Bible by seeing the civil rights movement through the lens of racism and through the Bible. Because why? He just said it. I wanted to address my blackness. Now, is that any kind of way for us to be approaching the Bible? For us to approach, to address our blackness? Do we open the Bible to address our blackness? Do we open the Bible looking for black people? Do we open the Bible looking for white people? Do we open the Bible looking for yellow people? Is this how we're supposed to approach the Word of God? I would go on a limb and say no. But we had James Cone wrote a book called Black Theology and Black Power. That was the start of it all.
But yet at the same time, I was a Christian. I was born a Christian. I couldn't leave that.
First mistake, you're not born a Christian. And if you understand this man's theology, this man was not a Christian. Okay. He in the theological sense, his theological stances, because here's the problem. When you have a theological stance that goes against the Bible, you're going against God. If the Bible clearly states a position and you disagree with that position, you're disagreeing with God. So James Cone opened the Bible, read the Bible, didn't like how the Bible read it because it didn't address his blackness. So I'm going to reinterpret the Bible to address my blackness, and I'm going to create a theology to create my blackness. And coincidentally, that was very important. That went out to black churches all over the country and shifted the minds of many in the black community.
faith was the center of my life. But the way in which that faith had been interpreted in the seminary, and also generally in the dominant interpretation of it in America, which King largely adopted, also had a white Jesus.
Now let's talk about white Jesus. Because honestly, white Jesus is a fallacy. White Jesus is a straw man. Okay, white Jesus was created to further white supremacy. I will admit that. I'll admit that. I don't have a problem with admitting that. But fast forward to today, we got black supremacy now. We got people pushing the same agenda that the Ku Klux Klan pushed, but now they're black. Okay, it's just that simple. The script has been flipped when it comes to that. Okay, so I just want to point that out. White Jesus should have never been born. I mean, should have never been created, because there was no white Jesus. Just like there was no black Jesus in the 2023 African American sense. Was Jesus melanated? 100%. Yes, he was melanated. Of course he was. His bloodline says he was Semitic. Some Semites had melanin. Does that matter in the totality of who Jesus was? No. Does that matter in the plan of salvation? No, because salvation is by faith. Faith in what? Faith in Jesus. Why faith in Jesus? Because Jesus came to do what you and I could never do. Live the law perfectly. Die on the cross for our sins, so that just as he arose and ascended to heaven, when you and I die, we can arise and ascend to heaven. That is the gospel, and there is no color in that. There's no ethnicity in that. There's no race in that. Okay? So let's talk about white Jesus, but let's talk about black Jesus too. Because neither of those matter. The one Jesus that matters is the Jesus that went to the cross with the sins of the world on his back. That's the only Jesus that counts.
Now, how are you going to get a European white Jesus in Palestine? You can't get that.
Okay, well, this is a good point right here. This is a good point, because I say that about the Esau thing, and you guys know I'm talking about Hebrew Israelites right now. How you going to get a white man in the midst of non-white people? How you going to do it? Anyway, that's a whole nother video.
But with white theologians, you can get almost anything out of Jesus. So they had reinterpreted Jesus so he looked like them.
They did.
So I wanted to bring the blackness of my identity together with the faith that I had learned in the church. And it was that brought me to want to interpret the Christian gospel. So, in black theology, which I developed, the blackness in that phrase comes from Malcolm X. The theology in it comes from Martin King. So I bring Martin and Malcolm together, the civil rights movement and the black power movement together, in order to develop a black theology of liberation.
This is, man, this dude, man, this dude, Thomas Carlyle, how you doing? Appreciate you. Thank you for stopping in. So this dude created a whole theology. Just created one. Just because I can do that. Then let's see. Wall says something here. Let's put him up. He said, if anything, Jesus would have looked like bin Laden. You gonna get your boy, you gonna get in trouble. You stop that. Let's see. Bill for Speed, what's up, man? He says being described with dark skin doesn't always relate to African people. The BHI shows that there's no distinction in their methodology. Okay. Says, let's see. Yep, Walsh, he's even misrepresenting white theologians. That's not the church, what the church taught. Why pretend that Christianity began in the 1600s USA? And I say that all the time too, David Collins. I say it all the time. I say, why do people act like Christianity started with the transatlantic slave trade? Why do they do that? You starting in the wrong place. Some of y'all starting in the wrong place on purpose. Because and this is how you make every white man evil. First of all, you say every white man participated in that. That's a lie. You say that that's when Christianity started. That's a lie. Got to read some books, man. Read some books. Just read some books. Read the Bible first, but then read some other books too. And you'll find the truth.
When Christ comes back,
he's gonna
and
cut your head off.
listen,
he's gonna give me pleasure in pulling your
Bible
head out
said,
your socket.
You better be glad the Lord is running this program. It was up to me, I go out here and start killing all you damn niggas in space.
That's the camera, then it's our
It's
blood.
gonna be your blood eating.
That's what you think.
It's
that
gonna
Christ...
be your blood eating.
Okay.
What time is it? War time! What time is it? War time! What time is it? War time!
Let it go! No street time with go!
The saints of the Most High to do what?
Take the kingdom!
The saints of the Most High to do what?
Take the kingdom!
And some of you brothers don't realize we're at war.